Hey gang, it's Rob, and in today's class, I'm going to show you guys how to pass A plus. If you've never seen one of these videos before, what I do is go through questions, give you guys some time to think about the answer, and then I actually give you the answer and explain why that is the answer. Let's not waste no more time. Let's get straight into it. So listen to me. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades, and I've helped almost 15,000 students just like you pass A plus. So I started my tech career in the U.S. Army, went to Afghanistan, fought for your freedom, and right now I'm fighting for your future tech career. So I've helped a bunch of people just like you pass A plus, Net plus, Security plus, and a bunch of other certifications. And I do videos just like this, and I drop one every week to help people just like you. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, and I actually give you the step-by-step process to actually get into tech and to become one of my students. If y'all ready to go, let's go. So if it's your first time researching A plus, looking at A plus, so on and so forth, the A plus is a two-part exam. So you got to pass core 1 and you got to pass core 2 to be fully A plus certified. So the passing score for core 1 is 675, while the passing score for core 2 is 700. All of the CompTIA exams are on a scale up to 900. So core 1 focuses mainly on hardware, networking, mobile devices, and troubleshooting, while core 2 focuses on operating systems, cybersecurity, software troubleshooting, and best practices. So each question is going to be a scenario-based question in this practice exam, and it's going to cover each domain that's in A plus. At the end of this, you should have a good idea if you suck or not, and if you are ready for the A plus. Now, I think this is a good test and a good barometer to see if the A plus is technically for you, and if you need to get into some training, if you need to start studying for it. Just passing this a practice exam does not mean that you're ready for A plus. So make sure that you do one thing for me right now before we get started is like this video so we can get into the algorithm and help more people just like you. And other than that, let's go ahead and get started, man. So question number 1. A user reports that their external hard drive is not being recognized by Windows. You check Device Manager and the drive is listed but shows a yellow warning icon. What should you do first? A, restart the computer. B, update or reinstall the device driver. C, reinstall or replace the hard drive. Or D, check if the drive has a backup. So if it's your first time here, I give you guys 20 to 30 seconds to look at the question, figure out what you think the best answer is, and then we'll go from there. So I'll tell you what the answer is, and I'll explain why that is the answer. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you would update or reinstall the device driver. So a yellow warning icon just basically means something's wrong. Either we got to update it or we have to reinstall the driver. And you just bring up Device Manager and it would tell you the health or the status of each device. So updating or reinstalling the driver can help resolve compatibility or corruption issues. A customer complains that their laptop screen flickers intermittently, especially when moving the lid. What is the most likely cause? A, overheating CPU. B, failing graphics card. C, loose or damaged display cable. D, corrupt operating system. I'm going to get some gains in. So while y'all doing this, trying to figure out what the answer is, I'm going to do some push-ups. All right, so we should be ready for the answer. So hopefully you guys picked loosed or damaged display cable. So one thing I wanted to point out really quickly though is what's the most likely cause. On the actual exam, it's going to be a lot of questions just like that. What's the most likely cause? What's the first thing you should do? What's the last thing you should do? So make sure that we pay attention to that stuff. So laptop screens flickering when the lid moves is most often caused by a loose or failing display ribbon cable that connects the screen to the motherboard. A new office workstation is being set up. The network cable is too far from the router. The user wants a stable connection without running long cables. What is the best solution? A, install a new router closer to the workstation. B, use a power line Ethernet adapter. C, set up a mobile hotspot. D, rely on a weak Wi-Fi signal. All right, we should be ready. 3, 2, 1. So for this, use a power line Ethernet adapter. So power line adapters use electrical wiring to transmit network signals, offering a stable connection without running long Ethernet cables. A user is experiencing frequent disconnections while using their Bluetooth mouse. Other Bluetooth devices work fine. What should you try first? A, update the Bluetooth drivers. B, replace the mouse battery or charge it. C, reset the Bluetooth settings on the computer. D, move closer to the router. Three, two, one. So you should replace the mouse battery or charge it. A low battery can cause connectivity issues in Bluetooth devices, leading to intermittent disconnections. So just for this, a lot of times on the exam, and especially in real life when you actually are on the job, you want to make sure that you do the easiest thing first. The easiest thing may not be the answer, but we always want to do the easiest thing first, just not to waste time, not to waste energy, and not to waste money, especially if you're on the job. So always try the easiest thing first, and then kind of go up from there. So we're a few questions in. Let me know, how are you doing? Did you get all the questions right so far? Did you get some right, some wrong? How are we feeling? And another question you may be asking is, where the hell did these questions come from? So I created a bunch of these questions myself. We actually have a vault of test questions, 4,000 test questions to be exact, that you can have access to. Just hit the link in the description and you'll have instant access to the vault of questions. Here go to the next one. A small business is setting up a new office and needs multiple devices to connect wirelessly. What type of network device would best provide full coverage and seamless switching between connections? A, a standard Wi-Fi router. B, a range extender. C, mesh Wi-Fi system. Or D, wired Ethernet switch. Get these push-ups. All right. What do we think? 3, 2, 1. All right. So for this, mesh Wi-Fi system would be the best just because it uses multiple access points to give you a broader range of coverage. And you'll be able to handle between different devices, so on and so forth. And it's going to improve connectivity if you're in a large area. A smartphone user complains that their device is overheating and the battery drains quickly. What is the best initial troubleshooting step? A, replace the battery. B, close unused background apps. C, perform a factory reset. D, enable airplane mode permanently. Three, two, one. All right, so the first thing you would do is just make sure that you close all unused background apps. Background applications running in the background can cause overuse of CPU resources, leading to overheating and battery drain. So there are a lot of apps that are CPU intensive. And even if you're not using them, it still takes a lot of the CPU resources, and it'll cause the CPU to overheat and cause other things to crash, other things not to work. A technician is replacing the RAM on a laptop, but notices that the new module does not fit into the slot. What is the most likely cause? A, the RAM module is defective. B, the RAM type is incompatible with the motherboard. C, the RAM is inserted backwards. D, the motherboard is damaged. Now, remember, in the exam room, if you get down and start doing push-ups, they're going to fail you immediately. So do not do that. Y'all ain't doing that shit anyway, probably. I probably haven't done push-ups since you've been high school. But anyway, what do we think the answer is? We ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, so the RAM type is probably incompatible with the motherboard. So every motherboard has a specific form factor. The form factor is just pretty much the size and the shape of the slots. And each, laptop and each RAM module has a different specification and have physical differences that will prevent incorrect installation. So a lot of times, if it's not fitting, don't force it. If you try and force it, you're going to ruin a RAM and the motherboard, most likely. A user attempts to print from their mobile device but gets an error saying no printer found. The printer is connected to the network. What should they check first? A, restart the printer. B, ensure the mobile device and printer are on the same Wi-Fi network. C, check the printer's toner levels. Or D, enable Bluetooth on the printer. So what should they check first? 3, 2, 1. So the first thing that they should check is just ensure that the mobile device and printer are on the same Wi-Fi network. So wireless printing requires both the device and the printer be connected to the same network. Pretty simple, right? We want to make sure that we're on the same network as a printer and the printer is on the same network as us so we can actually connect to it. A user's tablet screen is frozen and does not respond to touch. Restarting the tablet does not fix the issue. What should you or they do next? A, perform a hard reset using the hardware buttons. B, let the battery drain completely. C, reinstall the operating system. D, tap the screen multiple times. All right, so 3, 2, 1. So if the screen is frozen, a lot of times just resetting things can make stuff work. Restarting, powering off, powering back on. So a hard reset, holding down the power and volume buttons forces a reboot, which can resolve unresponsive touchscreen issues. So while we're here, before we get into the next question, quick shout out to our sponsors, the Certs IT Pro program, which is going to help you pass ITF Plus, A Plus, Net Plus, and Security Plus, all in a self-paced online program. And it's also the first step to the Certs IT Hero program. a program where me, myself, and my entire team help you pass certifications, coach you through interviews, coach you through resume writing, coach you through everything that you need. So instead of going through stuff by yourself, you'll have me as a dedicated coach and my entire team helping you pass these certifications and get an actual job. So that's something that you'll be interested in. The link is in the description. Reminder, one more time, you have to be a part of the Zero to IT Pro program to even be accepted into the Hero program. All right, so let's get to the next question. A business wants to implement a secure way for employees to unlock company smartphones without using passwords. What authentication method should they use? A, pattern-based unlock. B, single sign-on. C, biometric authentication. Or D, VPN login. So as you can see, this question has some acronyms. Acronyms are going to make the exam either a lot harder if you don't know them, or a lot easier if you do know them, right? Because not knowing what a VPN would make this a little bit more stressful than it needs to be. Get these push-ups. Three, two, one. Okay, so biometric authentication is just authenticating, proving who you are, using something that's biologically a part of you, a fingerprint, facial recognition, iris scan, so on and so forth. Biometric authentication offers security and convenience, reducing resilience or reliance on passwords while enhancing access control. All right, gang, that was a quick hit. If you want more videos just like this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. I drop videos just like this every week, about 1 to 3 every week. And this is the first step of your journey, right? And if you want more hands-on assistance, if you kind of don't know where to start, if you know where to start but want more help, or if you know where to start, have some help, need somebody to hold your hand, need a mentor, need coaching, all that information is in the description. But at a very minimum, thanks for spending this time with me. I know that it was valuable to you. And at minimum, just like the video so we can get in the algorithm and help more people just like you. Other than that, I will see you in class.